This is News 25 with Deanna O'Donnell. News 25, local news you can count on. News is brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law. Call 727-9900 today for your free consultation. If you need a lawyer, you need Nelson.
Welcome. Thanks so much for joining us. Today is Wednesday, August 11th. Well, the Nevada Highway Patrol has identified the driver troopers believe was impaired when he caused a deadly crash on I-15 last week.
NHP investigators say 60-year-old Gary Muir was behind the wheel of a Ford van that collided with a Dodge Charger on the evening of August 2nd. Preliminary investigation found that Muir was driving northbound in the southbound travel lanes of I-15 north of Las Vegas. The right front portion of the van struck the right front portion of the Charger. The right rear passenger in the car was ejected and died at the scene. His brother, the front seat passenger, was also killed. Both were from Lawrenceville, Georgia. Muir was arrested and charged with 2 counts of DUI resulting in death, 1 count of DUI resulting in substantial bodily harm, 1 count of driving the wrong way on a one-way road, and 1 count of open alcohol contained in a vehicle.
Well, Nevada Highway Patrol office is also conducting an investigation into a fatal traffic collision that occurred on Rampart Boulevard last night just after 10:30 p.m. Evidence at the scene indicated a marked Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department patrol vehicle was making a U-turn from southbound to northbound Rampart Boulevard south of Conception Drive. At that time, a 2011 Kawasaki Ninja motorcycle was traveling on the same boulevard. While the patrol vehicle was making the U-turn, the Kawasaki Ninja overturned, causing the rider to be ejected from the motorcycle, striking the rear of the patrol vehicle. The patrol vehicle came to a stop and the officer immediately notified his dispatch and requested medical personnel. Despite medical intervention, the rider of the Kawasaki succumbed to his injuries and was pronounced deceased at the scene. The speed component is considered being a factor in this crash, but investigation further is needed to determine the right of way. The collision investigation is being conducted by Nevada Highway Patrol. A driver reportedly distracted by a toolbox loses control of his pickup truck and crashes on Highway 372 this morning.
2 people were transported by Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue Service ambulance with non-life-threatening injuries to Desert View Hospital following a single-vehicle rollover crash off Highway 372 near Murphy Street. According to Nevada Highway Patrol, the driver of the pickup truck took his eyes off the roadway to check a toolbox located in the bed of the pickup truck. The toolbox lid had reportedly opened while traveling on the highway. The truck then left the roadway and the driver overcorrected, causing the truck to roll over onto the shoulder. Both the driver and passenger were mechanically entrapped inside the vehicle. Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies, Traffic Division, and auxiliary units were dispatched to the scene along with Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue medics. Nevada Highway Patrol is investigating the crash.
More news after this break.
You're watching News 25, the most recognized and farthest-reaching local news in Nye County. News 25, local news you can count on.
Welcome back to News 25. Well, Kyle Bickerstaff was shot and killed in June of 2020 in what authorities say was a botched robbery. Joshua Toldt pled guilty to 4 charges for his part in helping to hide the evidence in the case. But before he was sentenced, Bickerstaff's mom addressed the court.
Addressing the court, Toldt's attorney, Ronni Boskovich, explained to Judge Robert Lane the purpose of the plea deal drafted by Nye County Deputy District Attorney Kirk Vitto.
Typically with these types of cases, Mr. Vitto negotiates them in such a way that it's the defendants have one chance to prove that they've made the change, that they're willing to be productive members of society, stay out of the criminal justice system, and Mr. Toldt is asking for that chance in this case, Your Honor.
District Attorney Chris Arabia then asked that Kyle Bickerstaff's mom, Allison Bruns, be allowed to address the court. And after an objection by the defense, Judge Lane allowed it.
You wanted to do this to for whatever reason, to look cool or whatever. You purposely inserted your mother into the situation. And I don't understand. I will never understand that. Somebody died. My son died. He died and nobody cares. Not one person involved cares. Not one person called the police. Not one person rendered him aid. Instead, everybody decided to try to cover it up. And to me, that's sickening. It's absolutely wrong that nobody in this situation has any regard for a human life. A life was lost. This was a good kid. And for everyone to conspire together and clean up the crime scene, not to bring him aid, I don't care what the fight was. Nobody gave him aid.
Arabia followed up by pointing out the seriousness of the charges against Toldt.
You know, the facts of this case are, I don't know what the right word is, but you know, this is some serious stuff, and I know that this is a very young person, but you know, we have someone beaten with a pipe, we have concealing a weapon that was used in a homicide, you know, dissuading witnesses, and so the defense's recitation of Mr. Vitto's thinking, that is how Kirk approaches these cases, and we're mindful of that. And Kirk's been at it a lot longer than I have, and he didn't get to that by accident. So I do think that despite the seriousness of the allegations, that you know, that it is appropriate, and I just want to thank Ms. Bruns for coming out here today as well, just because I know that this is not an easy thing for her, and that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Judge Lane ultimately agreed with the proposed sentencing recommendations and went on to explain that the goal is that Toldt can be rehabilitated.
Mr. Vitto's juvenile analysis is correct when they come in front of us, and on those rare, we try and work with them on those rare occasions where we have to certify them as an adult. We do so with the thought in mind of, let's get them in adult court, give them an appropriate sentence, and then let them out and hope they rehabilitate with that big sentence hanging over their head. And we are going to do that with Josh. We're going to give him a big sentence and hope that that will straighten him out. He's going to be sentenced to 14 to 35 months with credit for time served. So that 9 or 10 months that he's going to spend in jail for dissuading a witness is going to be his slap on the wrist. The rest of them will be ran consecutive with probation, so when he gets out, he'll have to start working the straight and narrow.
And Nick Lustbaum was also due in court yesterday. His attorney said that there is a plea agreement in the works. Well, Nevada Health Response provided an update on county risk levels as posted by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. As of updates published on August 10th, 13 of Nevada's 17 counties are currently deemed as having substantial or high transmission. Counties flagged this week as having high or substantial risk of COVID-19 transmissions include Carson, Churchill, Clark, Douglas, Elko, Humboldt. Moved from moderate to high over the week. Lincoln, Lyon, Mineral, Nye, Pershing moved from moderate to high week over week. Washoe and White Pine. For the second week in a row, Esmeralda County is categorized as having a low risk of spread. In accordance with updated state guidance, the mask mandate for vaccinated people in Esmeralda County will be lifted on August 13th. Unvaccinated individuals will still be required to wear masks indoors or while in crowded outdoor settings. Humboldt and Pershing counties, which were not listed as having high or substantial risk of transmission last week, are now listed as having a high risk of transmission. In accordance with updated state guidance, if either county maintains a substantial risk or moves to a high risk for another week, the more stringent mask requirements as laid out by the CDC will go into effect on Friday, August 20th. Story County, which has flagged as having a substantial risk of transmission last week, has moved back down into a low risk of transmission, meaning Story County is not currently required to implement the stronger mask mandate. Week over week, Eureka and Lander County moves from being categorized as moderate to low risk. The CDC recommended that everyone, including fully vaccinated individuals, wear a mask in public indoor settings and in counties with substantial or high transmission. As a reminder, throughout the state, individuals who are not fully vaccinated are required to wear face coverings indoors or while in crowded outdoor settings. Nevada is the first state to reinstate indoor mask wearing on July 30th. Since then, Nevada has had the second lowest COVID growth in the nation over the past 2 weeks at 21%, which is more than 4 times lower than the national average of 112% as of August 9th. Only Missouri has had a slower COVID growth rate, although Nevada has seen 3 times fewer daily new cases and 30% lower cases per 100,000. Nye Communities Coalition is preparing to bring together employers and prospective employees. Rachel Leddy, the resource room assistant at NYECC, says it's a great opportunity to land a new job or start a new career.
We are having a job fair. It's going to be Friday, August 13th and Saturday, August 14th. It will be 9 a.m. to noon both days. We are hoping to have a diversity of employers and a lot of different types of jobs available. With the job fair, some of the employers may be hiring for new positions that we're not aware of and have not posted yet. And if there are any employers who are interested in RSVPing a table, they need to contact me. They can call me at 775-727-9970. There's no fee. All of our services for employers are free. It's everything from entry level to professional. We have a huge variety of jobs right now. We suggest that you bring your resume, that you come prepared for an interview, meaning dressed for an interview as well. If you need interview clothing, we do have a clothing closet where we can help you with getting some clothing. We actually have a resource room with people available to help with all kinds of things, with resumes, with helping you to match up with maybe a job that we have posted. We can help you with most of your job search needs. We are encouraging those people who are receiving unemployment insurance to attend the job fair because the additional money that they have been receiving from unemployment insurance will end in the next few months. They could secure a career with some of these employers, and if they're interested in getting new training or changing careers, we actually have a program where we may be able to assist with that.
Thanks so much, Rachel. Once again, the Nye Communities Coalition Job Fair is this Friday and Saturday, August 13th and 14th from 9 a.m. until noon each day. NYECC is located on East Wilson Road right here in Pahrump. News 25 will return on the other side of this break.
News 25 weather is brought to you by Dairy Council of Nevada. The splash of cream in your coffee, the dollop of sour cream on your burrito, the melted toasty cheese on your pizza. Undeniably delicious, undeniably dairy. Enjoy what's real.
Oh, there you are. It's John Kohler from KPVM Channel 25 Weather Studios. Nice to see you on a Wednesday show. We look at these atrociously wonderful temperatures as summer progresses here. Fernley, Fallon, Carson City, you're all hanging around 100 degrees. Near enough. Tonopah, you're making that difference at 94 degrees, being the cool spot in the state. Way to go. Goldfield bringing up the rear at 95 degrees for a high today. Beatty, you're up to 103. Amargosa, 108. Impressive. Out in Las Vegas, splitting the difference between Beatty and Amargosa, you're at 105. In Death Valley, 117 degrees. Awful. And here in the Paradise of Pahrump, well, let me look. 99 degrees. Hey, that's not looking too bad. 102 a little bit earlier, and we're sweating a little bit under that humidity at 23%. Sun rising this morning just before 6 a.m. It was glorious. Setting this evening about 7:38 p.m., and that'll be glorious because we got those partly cloudy skies. Looks like that humidity is kicking up to 32% as we approach morning and a low of 78 degrees. Well, what does that mean for the rest of the week? Clouds. Lots of clouds. Lots of clouds this week, and not a lot of rain predicted. Winds hanging in around 10 miles per hour, just reliably up and down, within a mile per hour or two. Temperatures starting at 104, getting a little bit hairier this weekend at 106, and retreating Tuesday, Wednesday down to 97-degree territory. And that sounds like actually pretty pleasant week of summertime weather here in southern Nevada. Looking forward to it. And back to the desk we go. Here's Deanna.
Thanks so much, Sean. We want to remind everybody once again that the Miss Pahrump pageant is back, and it is this Saturday at the Saddle West. The doors open at 5:30. The show starts at 6. We've got 6 lovely ladies vying for the crown of Miss Pahrump, and we're going to be saying goodbye to our old Miss Pahrump. You know, what's really great is that she held over for 2 years, and that's Elia Bolton, and she has just been serving the town of Pahrump so well. We also have the Miss Senior Golden Years pageant coming up as well, and that's going to be happening soon. We'll give you more details on that in the coming weeks, but if everybody'd like to get down to Saddle West, you can even buy tickets at the door. You can always find the Miss Pahrump pageant on Facebook and find out more about the lovely ladies that are going to be competing this weekend, and they're of course, is going to be a great show. We want to remind everybody once again that, of course, the HBO show that we did here, Small Town News, 6 episodes, is airing on Monday nights. They're on HBO and HBO Max. You can find them by just signing up. HBO is only $9.99 a month, and they also have a free of course, trial period. But we are going to be down there once again for the final 2 episodes this Monday night at 6 p.m. to watch those 2 last episodes. I have no clue what's going to happen. But I think we're still going to be here, but I don't know what's going to happen in the episodes. So, you know, it's not up to me to edit it. But anyways, it's a good show, and we really appreciate HBO and World Wonder for that, of course. And if you're listening on Ace Country Radio or you're watching us on Facebook, you can always get KPVM TV over the air. All you need to do is give us a call, 775-727-9400. All you need is over-the-air digital antenna and hook it up to your TV and just rescan for your channels. You can get KPVM TV, all of the channels that we have, all 9 of them.
You're watching News 25, brought to you by Mountain West Lawyer, Injury Attorneys, 727-9500. News 25, local news you can count on.
Well, when the power goes out unexpectedly, you may be left with a fridge full of question marks. I know my freezer went out, and I know what this is like. Cleveland Clinic's Dr. Baruch Fertel says during a power outage, it's important to make sure perishable items are safe to eat.
Once the temperatures are not at the appropriate cold level, it provides an ideal medium for viruses, for bacteria to replicate, and then one can get a foodborne illness, sometimes called a diarrheal illness, and could get very sick.
So, what's okay to keep and what should be tossed? According to the FDA, food is safe in a closed refrigerator for about 4 hours. Food can also be kept safely up to 24 hours in a half-full freezer and for 48 hours in a full freezer, provided it has not been opened. Items are safe to refreeze if they have icicles or are 40 degrees or less. However, Dr. Fertel says if there's any doubt, throw it out.
If it doesn't look right, if it doesn't smell right, don't do it. Don't eat it. Don't take chances. Perishable items, things like meat, dairy products, cut up fruit, leftovers. If the power's out, throw it out.
Dr. Fertel says the very old and the very young are most at risk for complications from a diarrheal or foodborne illness.
Thanks to Brad Francis for that report. Well, during the heat of the summer, one of the best ways to cool off is with a nice dip in the pool. In today's Ask Angie segment, Bailey Carson has some tips for keeping your backyard swimming pool safe and clean all season long.
Pools are major investments, so it's important to install them properly and keep them clean and safe. Bailey Carson, head of everyday services at Angi and a home care expert, is here to talk about how to maintain your pool for many years to come, as well as what to consider if a pool is on your bucket list.
Having a pool in your backyard is an amazing luxury, but it does take some regular maintenance. Testing and adjusting the water chemistry is critical to make it a healthy swim. While your pool is open, you'll want to test weekly and adjust the chlorine and other chemical levels accordingly.
If you're hanging out by the pool and notice any cracks in your pool's surface, be sure to fix them right away. Delaying these repairs can lead to the need for a full pool resurfacing, which can be both complicated and expensive.
Pay attention to the water level in your pool. If it's dropping for no clear reason, it could be as simple as just evaporation, or it could be a signal that something's gone wrong with your pool liner, in which case you'd want to call in a pro. Look out for any wrinkling or puckering, particularly around weaker areas like steps, drains, and filters.
If you're thinking about adding a pool to your yard, there are a few things to consider. Think about your budget, because pools can cost up to $100,000 depending on what features you want to add. Also think about space. Before getting started, measure and tape the shape of the ideal pool in your yard so you can figure out exactly where you want it and how big you want it to be.
When planning your pool, think about the features you'd like to add. Do you want to have a slide, a diving board, or maybe just multiple sets of stairs? Also, you could consider a heater or even a speaker system. Pool lighting is another really popular feature, particularly if you want to swim at night.
Consider what convenience and safety features you'd like to install with your pool. Brick, concrete, and tile can become very slippery, so consider paving stones to keep your family and guests safe around the pool. A screen pool enclosure can help keep bugs and debris out of the water, while gates with locks and alarms can help keep small children safe and deter unwanted guests.
There are also great above-ground swimming pool options to consider. These are oftentimes less expensive and they can be smaller, making them better for yards with constrained space. They also are quite easy to install and to disassemble. So you could get swimming faster this summer, and if you decide to move, you can always take it with you.
News 25 Weather Cam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
It is beautiful outside. Look at those fluffy clouds. They're expecting some thunderstorms up there near the mountain. We're going to find out what's in our forecast right after this break.